Hello, viewer. Just give me 2 seconds. I'm going to type in quick. All right, so welcome back to another broadcast. Thank you guys for tuning in. As you can see in the title, today we have Precious with us. I'm super duper excited. She's going to be talking to us about the importance of singleness and giving us her testimony. You guys know about my mug, Stay Positive. You can go down my page and find out how to get those, or go to Stay Positive Crystal 8 on the Facebook. And you know when I start my in the Omega days. When I start my broadcast, I always start out with the Daily Promise book, and today is 213 out of 365 days. And it says here that I love the Lord because he hath heard my voice and my supplication, because he hath inclined his ear unto me. Therefore will I call upon him as long as I live. And you can reference that back to Psalms 116, 1 through 2. It says, he hath inclined to hear unto me, no matter how trivial. The Lord promises to listen to your prayers. He wants you to draw near to him, to talk with him about everything on your heart. James 4 and 8. He won't put you on hold. He won't ask you to come back at a later time. He won't tune you out. It's a promise you can count on. Yay! Also, you guys, I'm doing the Apple Watch giveaway. We want to get the message across and out. So the more people that follow me and things like that. So don't forget to like and share on this video. But without further ado, let's go ahead and pull Precious up. Yeah. Hi, Precious.
How are you?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm well, thank you. Thank you so much for having me. I really
Girl.
appreciate being here and having the opportunity to share my testimony.
Yes, it is a gift. Let me get this fixed.
Aw.
You are a gift, and I thank God for you. I seen, at times when I had got busy, you have just totally took over the Women of Fire group, y'all. She is in charge of the Women of Fire group, and I thank God for her. That is so awesome. I'm so excited, like I could turn some cartwheels right now.
But you know
Yeah.
what, Crystal, you're not the first woman to share that. I had several sisters who said, Precious, oh my goodness, I was praying to God. I was like, God, how do I continue to stay engaged? I got busy with work, or I got busy with school, and literally out of nowhere, your videos came right at the right time. Your video, I was like, wow, I had no clue. I just was going and felt led to put them in certain groups. And so I'm grateful that my obedience translated. And so thank you so much for sharing it, because I didn't want to seem overbearing or overpowering anything. I just really wanted to give. And so many women reached out to me. It was like, thank you, thank you, thank you. I was like, oh, I'm sorry. I didn't want to, I just felt led. So I went with it.
Yes, and I've been like, okay, I got to put a cash offering on the side for this lady, because I mean, you are over there working, and that's okay. So, Precious, before you begin, can you just tell us a little bit about your ministry and what you do and where people can come find you at on social media and things like that? And then also the launch of you and your husband's new ministry that you guys have going on.
Yeah,
Yay! I know.
Thank you so much. I know there's so much going on, but
Yeah.
my name is Precious Simone Whitener, but my branding name is Precious Simone Inspires, because the Lord has given me a platform to inspire his people, to encourage his people, and push his people to know who they are in him and walk in their purpose unapologetically. You can find me on Facebook, Precious Simone Inspires. Find me on Instagram, Precious Simone Inspires. You can find me on TikTok, Precious Simone Inspires, because that is who I am. I inspire. I provoke and push you to be who you are called and created to be, a prayer warrior, woman of God, married, which you all are going to hear about her soon. But you can find me on those platforms. You can find my husband and I just launched our ministry, Misplaced Crowns, where we are talking about where we have misplaced our crowns in life and how to come back and reclaim your crown from the places that it's been stolen. So, woo! Go to like and follow
He is
on
on
the
fire.
Misplaced Crowns Ministry Facebook page. So much more to come from that. The Father gave us that vision in 2020, which we will be talking about on the live. And now we are in the business of launching what it is that he gave us. So, yes, I am an author, an inspirational speaker. I'm in nonprofit management in my day job, but most of the things that I do is committed to helping people grow personally, professionally, spiritually. Because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter how good you are in any area of your life. If your spirit isn't well, it's going to reflect everywhere. And so I'm huge on where's your spirit? How are you in your life with your relationship with the Lord? And
Yes.
I love all things fun. I love to
Yes.
have a good time, all things faith, and that's me.
You're also an AKA, isn't that right?
I am an AKA. Yep, I
Yeah.
am
Me
a lovely member
too.
of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated.
Yeah, awesome. And so, where can people go get your book at?
You all can find my books on Amazon. You can also order from me directly, but ultimately you can go through Orderzon. I still get all of the proceeds or whatever. But
Okay.
Amazon and Precious Simone, if you look up my name, Precious Simone, you will find the books underneath my name. And so much more to come, y'all. I got some developments and some different things that are coming down the pipe even now. So I thank God, y'all. My living your gifts, living your calling, living your purpose, because I'm telling you, you don't know how many branches are connected to your yes. You don't know what God has from your testimony. You don't know what God has from as you continue to say, you know what, use me, Lord. He continues to give you downloads. He continues to give you so much more that you didn't even know that was attached to your yes, baby.
Yep. Amen. Yes,
Now you didn't get me all stirred up.
I know. I feel like you got to come back because I know I, it might have to be a series with me and Sheena. Also, she was going to come on, but she gets so super busy, so she wasn't
Uh-huh.
able to. So I know the chemistry will be awesome. So tell us a
Aw.
little bit about your journey, because we probably can just sit here and talk all day before we get into the
Of
meat of it.
course.
As a single lady, I got to
Mhm.
actually listen. I got to come to one of your lives that you were doing, and the story is awesome. I think
Aw.
that it is phenomenal. I was like, oh my God, I cannot believe it was you and your husband both actually telling the story. It was awesome. So, where do you want to begin with us on that tonight about your journey as being single?
Yeah. So the journey of singleness, I'll just start with how I got single.
Okay,
If
awesome.
that's fair, because
Oh,
I was single in college, post college, I got in a relationship. So I want to go from how I got back single.
right.
So I, full transparency, I got married in 2012. In January of 2012, I was proposed to him. In January 2011, got married in January 2012, a whole year later. And here I am on top of the world. Top of the world. I have always desired to be married, had always longed for it. I wasn't quite sure if it was 100% in my background or what's going to happen for me. My mom had been married a couple times, but it wasn't through my entire family. So I wasn't quite sure if it was going to be for me, but I knew it was something that I desired. Well, here it is. I get married, and I believe that this is going to be what God has for me. And within months, my relationship began to unravel, and I was devastated. I was heartbroken because I'm like, "Ooh, God wrote my story. I'm in this. I'm great. I got a
Right.
man of God. I believe God has so much in store for us." And it began to unravel. And one of the things I always tell people is that I had to walk through that and I had to go through that because it developed me and groomed me as a woman. There are a lot of things that I had learned about womanhood. There's a lot of things that I hadn't been taught through what it looks like. Even I didn't know how to be a wife. I don't
Oh,
think
you mean to tell me that you have to be developed into a woman? It just doesn't happen?
it doesn't happen. No, you have to be developed. Womanhood is something that it has to be instilled in you. Not that we don't have traits, we already have qualities, we already have amazing things about ourselves. But at the end of the day, I did not have any example of what a good marriage looked like, and he didn't have an example of what a good marriage looked like. So we tried with what we had, and we did our best. But I assure you that things about our upbringing, things about life, things about it just collided. And though we're great people, two great people just didn't make it together. It actually unraveled and fell apart. And so I like to tell people, I'll be honest in saying that the way that I communicated at times could have caused a lot of shutdown and a lot of what's going on here, and
Communication.
and yeah, the level of patience and allowing a person to come out of their shell. And then for me, I like resolve. So I'm like, no, let's fix this now. So if I see something I didn't like, I was big on like, let's address it, let's get through it. And that didn't always translate, if I'm being honest. And so and the reverse was I'm like, I'm not getting love, I'm not getting affection, I'm not getting attention. What's wrong with me? I'm questioning my worth, questioning my value, questioning if I'm lovable. I'm like, what?
Yeah,
And I
so
was
much.
going through that in my early 20s, and it took something out of me. I lost my smile, I'll be honest, because within that time, like I said, things were happening so fast. And I also want to go back and say, sometimes you go into situations wanting to change, that your courtship kind of begins to show you some things that you are going to deal with. However, in my mind, because I'm like, no, we gonna win, we gonna make it. Like, there were things that you kind of, things that are red flags that you don't always deal with well in your courtship, they kind of show up and translate over into the marriage. And so there were some things that I felt like, oh, we can fix this, it'll be okay. Well, it wasn't okay. And we couldn't fix it because of how we dealt with it in the courtship. And so I like to tell people that too, your courtship will set you up and show you kind of what kind of relationship y'all are going to have if you don't deal with certain things. And so I remember just being like, wow, we dealt with that same stuff we dealt with over here. We dealt with over here because we didn't address it well. And so I ended up back single, girl. He wanted out. I'm like, no, we gonna make it. He wanted out, and that was the start of the journey of becoming precious, and the journey of becoming a woman, and the journey of forgiveness and learning how to forgive, and the journey of knowing my worth and my value, and the journey of understanding that I had to walk through that. And that was a part of my journey. Even though I didn't like it, it was very unsavory. I didn't like it. But what I did after that time is I spent some time learning myself. I spent some time growing and developing Precious. All I knew growing up was strong women, just strong women with a lot of kids. Just being honest, like that's my story. Strong woman with kids. My auntie, strong woman with 7 kids. My mama, strong woman with a lot of kids. My auntie, strong woman with kids. And there was no how to be a feminine, like how do I embrace this woman that I am? How do I embrace the feminine side of me and not the strong aggressive side? Like how do I embrace this piece? And I walked through a journey of that, and it hurt. It was hard. I have to have some hard conversations with myself, hard conversations just in life in general, and began to say, okay, Precious, this is you and it's good, but how can we develop you more and walk into more? So I read books, I got into groups with support groups with women in the body, and got some mentorship. And it radically changed my life. It radically changed how I view myself, radically changed how I see myself as a woman. And so I spent after I got divorced in 2014. I spent literally the last 6.5 years just working on Precious. I didn't, I was one scared to be in a relationship again, if I can be honest, because I was like, no, I'm good on relationship. And then I was afraid, of course. And then thirdly, I didn't believe that after my situation unraveled, I was like, well, I don't want to open up again. Who's going to want me after this? If that didn't want me with all of my education, all of my beauty, all of my talent, all of my skill, being a woman of God, being a woman of prayer, being a woman of faith, I associated everything that I was and said, if that one person didn't want it, then why would somebody else wouldn't want it? You know what I'm
And
saying?
so you didn't So what it sounds like to me is your singleness of life, and I'm not throwing shade on anybody, but this is just trying to help people who do want to be married. Like you
Yeah,
said, your singleness of life didn't involve going to the club all the time and doing this and do that. Your singleness of life, you said that you got around a group of women who could mentor you. So
yeah,
that's what you were talking about even earlier when you said developing into a woman, because it wasn't about
yeah. I
partying and
wasn't drinking, wasn't sleeping around. I'm not gonna say that I didn't have a struggle, that I didn't fall and have temptation, because I did.
even if you met somebody decent in the circle that you were running around in a decent circle, you may have had temptations.
I
But
may have
however,
had, I did. I had temptations, and even once I was done with my relationship, but full transparency, I was still running back, and he was still running back, and it was hard to cut loose. So even once we were done, we were still. I'm just being 100%, because nobody talked to me about, like, well, what's life after divorce? I heard
right,
people saying, well, close the door, lock the door, don't let him in. What does that even look like? That I can't, because I'm
right,
still emotionally tender towards him. I can't close the door, right? And even if after I did 3 or 4 days, if he come back day 5, okay, I'm nobody's walking me through this process or even talking me through. So I'm begging for help. Like, what do I do? This was my first real heartbreak, so I'm struggling, and it
right.
wasn't really till the father had told me to move. So I moved, and he didn't know my location or anything, and I began to heal. And so when he would come around through text message or through email, I didn't cut him off that way, because some part of me still had hope, if I'm being honest. And there was
Most
no
women,
access.
yeah,
Yeah, there was no access. There was no way of getting to me. And after that, things began. My heart began to heal. Right, the access, because he moved right down the street from me, so the access was right there. This is our space. We used to live together, so I always opened the door. And then one day, the heart just began to heal. I began to forgive. I began to find my worth and value, and I realized I don't want that. I don't want it in that way.
right.
Not a rejection at him, but I don't want, if this is what it's going to be, I don't want that like that anymore either. And so, yeah, I spent my singleness. No, I wasn't in the club. I wasn't drinking. Well, I've never been a drinker, so that's just me. I have some family issues with alcoholism, so I never drank. And then when it comes to clubbing, I stopped clubbing like age of 19. I got saved, and I was like, I'm done with the clubs. So that wasn't my situation, but I did surround myself with some positive women in the Lord